Hello, Renee Flamont here. And Minnie, who's still in her pajamas, by the way. I left them for you because these are my favorite. I just love them. She's like a fuzzy ball. The narcissist's goal of leaving us a mess. That is truth. That is their goal, to leave us a mess. And we're going to get to it in a second, but I wanted you to know I noticed my flubbubs in the last couple of videos. Once saying New Year's Eve when I meant Christmas Eve, and once saying 2022 when I meant 2021. I'm sure you caught them. I just want you to know that I did too when rewatching. But I told you before, if I flub up, I leave it. Like, you know what I meant. But I just want you to know I did notice that. And please hit subscribe and like and share. If you know somebody who you're like, I want to tell them about this disorder, I think their partner has it. It's a subtle way to do that. Send them a link. Hey, check this girl out. Something might click. An audience member told me that I should start saying share as well. So that's why I'm trying to do that. So, but to the topic at hand, I believe, well, I don't believe, it's true. Their goal is to leave us with all kinds of residual stuff. Repercussions. Shame. Kicking ourselves. Love for them lingering around, pain, while they just go forth and have zero anything. I want that to sit for a second, because I'm not kidding. They have zero anything, and we are left with all of this. That's their goal. They love that. Okay? Their intention is to leave us a mess. They want themselves to be swirling around in our brains and hearts and minds forever. Mind and brain, I suppose, is the same thing. Ongoingly, perpetually, continually. And you know, this is one of the things, the last things that they can do, but this is one of the things that makes them feel powerful. Powerful. They're affecting you and they're not even any longer with you. That's some stuff right there. Can you imagine how much of a rise somebody with this personality disorder gets out of something like that? Like now you get to a point like I am, and they're not so much swirling around in your brain. And I have a couple of videos outlined in the next few that I'm going to make that shows you that they don't forever swirl around, but they do leave with that whole weight of everything, and they're just bouncing around the earth like nothing happened. It's unfair, yes. The part that I had a hard time learning, and when I read it I didn't believe it, is they were always planning to move on. They knew the whole time they were going to move on. They were going to do what they did to you, move on, and leave you a mess. They knew all of that. And I struggled with that when I first read it. I was very confused. Because everything they said, you mean? Nothing ever was real? Not minute one. Now we know, no, none of it was real. But some of you are still grasping that. And that's where I was when I was confused. I was like, well, what do you mean he knew? He seemed happy in the beginning because I didn't know about this disorder. It was when I was learning and I read that and I said, I don't even know what you mean. They always wanted it to be a mess. Here's the thing. They know the whole time, the whole darn time, because they know themselves. They know themselves. They know their pattern. My narcissist used to say, I've cheated on everybody my whole life. It's just the way that I am. Meaning, like, when the truth started coming out. I guess that was supposed to make me feel better. Do you know what I mean? I just do that. I've been doing this for 40 years. Oh, thank you for that. But they play. That's what they do. So interim, throughout all these different people, they're playing with us. They never stay in one place for too long. And not genuinely of the heart is what I mean. Like mine had 2 15-year marriages, but I wouldn't classify either of them as saying that they saw him having stayed in one place with them in their heart, in their home. He was gallivanting the entire time, he told me. So just because the wife, can say they had 15 anniversaries, that doesn't mean that he stayed there. He was gallivanting. I'd rather not have somebody that's not staying with me if you're all over the place. Why? Because we're clocking anniversaries. That means you stayed. That means I won. No, I don't think so. That doesn't count. That's not even what I mean, sir. So I'd rather have been alone if I were one of those women, I'm saying. They probably, each of them had children, so they can't say that because those are their gifts. But if you are with somebody for that length of time and they're stepping out on you the whole time, you're not clocking any good time. That's not good time. And they know it. They know they're stepping out. They know they're going to step out. They know exactly what the whole process was going to be that would leave you a mess. And I just want to, let's take a minute and look at the kind of person it takes for them to want that kind of perpetual control over somebody else's mind. I mean, what in the world? I mean, would you ever? Could you ever? No. Because not for nothing, I've had relationships end before. We all have. Friendships, partnerships, romantic ones or not. And other than wishing them well and health and happiness in their lives, I don't carry a concern in my mind for me wanting to be continued to be swirling around in their brain post-ending. Like, that's just weird. Who does that? You part ways and you wish each other well. Done. Not the narcissist. They want it to be on your mind. I mean, it takes a special kind of insecure and sinister person, in my opinion, to desire the perpetual real estate they'd like to continue owning in your mind. And they do for a long time, don't they? We're talking about it now. Somebody asked me that once. They said, but you talk about him every day. Does it bother you? I think I answered it in a video once, but we're on like video 360, whatever this is, 9 or 8. So I don't remember if I did or which one, but I think I did answer that. And it doesn't bother me because I'm trying to expel this information to relay it to people who it is helping. So it doesn't bother me. I don't think about him longingly. Do you know what I mean? But man, they do take up that real estate for a long time. And it's not fair because they are fine. Why can they be fine and they leave us a mess? And the fact that they knew it the whole time, the fact that they knew the cycle was going to unfold that way, even if they don't have the terminology, that's just semantics. They knew they were going to come on strong, maybe that's the word they used. They knew they were going to end up cheating on you, and they knew they were going to throw you away, and they knew they were going to try to keep coming back to you. They might not know the word Hoover, love bomb, triangulation. They knew the whole time the mess they were going to create. They live for it. They want it. They need it. And they need to know that you're wallowing afterwards. Just like they like to see you suffer when they're with you, they like to know that you're wallowing afterwards. Part of the sinister Hoover, right? They get you on the phone finally, they leave you 39 messages, you finally call them back, and boom, they're out of sight. You don't hear from them. They know you're wallowing now, wondering what happened. You left me 50 messages, I finally call you back, and there's nothing. They've created a mess, and they've moved on. It's always the same thing. All these little mini times they do it. They create a mess, and they're fine. Talk about sadistic. If you put this all together, it becomes so clear to me how bad of a person they are. Like when I finally wrap my brain around that, hi baby doll. When I finally wrap my brain around how sinister of a person that has to be, think about that. So, again, we've all had breakups. We've all had maybe friendships that they come and go in our life. There's no You're not wishing that you're bouncing around in their brain dysfunctionally, making them upset perpetually till the end of time. The narcissist is feeling that way. Mine, wherever he is in the world right now, I'm sure, I'm not saying they think of us, but they go through their phone. That's how I think that the person comes to mind for them to call. We talked about this before. They never erase anyone's number. They never get rid of any potential. We used to use the word Rolodex. I've actually heard young people say, what's a Rolodex? It was a circular paper system, cards with numbers on them. Well, their phone is their Rolodex. They're not throwing that out for nothing. Little black book, you've heard in a movie. Well, the phone is the little black book now, right? I think Fonzie from Happy Days had a little black book, or somebody did. That's their black book. They're not getting rid of it. I think they scroll when they're bored, and they start shooting out messages and making phone calls to whomever they think is going to call, and then they'll create a mess, and then they'll move on or go back to whomever they're with, and right now they're having a fight, and so they're going to create a mess over here, and then they're going to How sinister is that? That you can't just sit tight in your own self and your own space and leave everybody alone. You have to make sure that you're on the minds of these people. And like I said, I don't think my narcissist is sitting there thinking about me, but the next time he goes through his phone, who knows? I'm R. So maybe I'm saved. Maybe there's like 1,400 girls before R, and he's gotten enough supply that maybe I'm saved by my initial being R. But what if your name is Ann? You probably always get a call. I'm not even kidding. Because I think when they're despondent, when they're in a fight with somebody, when they're bored, when they need new supply, that's where they start. Right? Of course it is. And they're going to start only to create a mess eventually. We have to look at that and realize what a bad person they are. Because if you're looking for something to hold on to and you're trying to turn a corner in your heart, whether your status is with them or not, we always look for things that make us turn the corner so our heart heals. Think about how bad of a person it is for somebody to want to create a mess in your life for you to deal with. And all you've known is this person, so you can't even deal with it with them. Like if you've been with this person 20 years, you're used to dealing with all of the strife in your life with them. They became your best friend, kind of, partner in crime, whatever. Even though they were dysfunctional, they're your plus one. So now you have to deal with all this mess, and they're off. It's very frustrating. It's not fair. You are correct. And they did know the whole time. And that's the shame of it. But I want you to know that about them because it shows their character. It wasn't an accident. They didn't come along, fall in love with you, and oops, they fell out. Or oops, they fell into old habits. That's what I thought. Oh, but he was in love with me. He just fell into old habits of cheating. No, he knew the whole time the mess he was going to make because he does it every time. Like I said, they don't have to know the words, but he knows his cycle, his pattern. He probably thinks of it as a pattern of behavior or whatever. So I just want you to look for that and realize that that is just, there's no other way to put it, that's just not a nice person. Who wants to do that to somebody? Who wants to do that to somebody? Leave them a mess. What kind of person are these? Once you look at your narcissist and you think that in your brain and you look at them and you go, wow, they really wanted me to be in this state the whole time, you're gonna see them differently. And you may be tempted to ask them, did you know the whole time? They're gonna say no. Or they might say something like mine did. Well, I knew I cheated all the time. Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling it wasn't gonna go great. Or who knows what they're gonna say. But I'm telling you, they know themselves. And it is a person that I know, and I figured out finally that I didn't want anything to do with them. Not a person like that. I don't want to be with a person like that. Just thought I'd mention it.